All right, students, dodgeball. 3, 2, 1, go. It was gym class and the kids were playing dodgeball, so like a major W. Well, this kid, Jay, was playing just like everybody else. 2 groups were lined up on each side of the gym, and the dodgeballs were right on the middle line. 3, 2, 1, go. And they all run for the dodgeballs and then step back, and people begin throwing them. Well, Jay grabbed one and he launched it. But it accidentally smacked this girl in the face. I mean, that's the game, right? Dodgeball. You try to hit people, then they're out. Well, this girl was kind of one of the popular girls. She was also super dramatic. Well, she starts crying. And the gym teacher runs over. Oh my God, are you okay? No, go sit down. Jay, come here. What? Are you kidding me? You're out of line. What do you mean? We're literally playing dodgeball. Office, now. So he goes to the office, and he gets written up. People started whispering that Jay hit a girl. He tried to explain, but nobody cared. No, guys, we were playing dodgeball. That's what we're supposed to do. And he became that kid, and he never played dodgeball again. But guys, that makes no frickin' sense. That's what you do, right? That's dodgeball. I don't know. That's nuts. Hey, look, we got a sub. It was supposed to be an easy day. The regular teacher was out and the sub came in. And sure, a couple kids whispered during the lesson. One kid even tossed a paper airplane. But for the most part, the class wasn't bad at all. Well, the next morning, the regular teacher storms in. So, this is the note the sub left me, and I cannot believe you. Wait, what? The worst class I've ever seen. Total chaos. Students disrespectful, talking over instructions, disobeying, and disrespecting me. What? And the class erupts. Yo, that is not true at all. Yeah, this sub is lying. But the teacher slams the paper on the desk. I will not hear it. Every single one of you needs to have a 5-page paper written and turned in tomorrow on why what you did was wrong. And the class didn't really know what to do because they know they weren't that bad, but the teacher was just gonna believe the sub's note. And the sub definitely lied. At this one school, there was a day called the Polar Express Day. It's where the elementary kids would wear their pajamas to school, they would watch Polar Express at the end of the day, and then the buses would take them home. It's everybody's favorite day. Everyone's all cozy, there's snacks. Polar Express is an awesome movie. Well, this one year, during the movie, nobody noticed that the snow was coming down, and it was piling up outside. All right, kids, movie's over. Let's open the blinds and... Oh. It's snowing. And it was snowing a lot. Well, school's over, and the buses are delayed. It takes about 30 minutes for these buses to show up to the school. Well, this group of kids gets on their bus, but it wasn't their normal bus driver. It was a substitute bus driver. And the problem is, for some reason, this bus driver had no idea where he was going. I think this is the right neighborhood, right? No! Where are you taking us? The bus driver didn't know what to do, so he stopped at a freaking gas station. Okay, guys, we're just gonna pull over here for a second. There's a man at my window. Hey, kid, want a free animal? What? Then they stop in a random parking lot. One kid has to call his parents so they can give him directions. Mom, we're lost. Talk to the bus driver. Hi. The mom tries to give him directions. It didn't really work that well. So he drives the bus with all the kids in it back to the bus depot. Carl, what? I need you to take these kids home, man. I have no idea what I'm doing. What do you mean? There's still kids in that bus. Help us. So they switch bus drivers and this bus driver gets them home safely. But by that time, it was around 7 p.m. That's a crazy day. It's 1 a.m. at Ryan's birthday sleepover. I'm Ryan. Pizza boxes everywhere, video games on the TV, and then Ryan falls asleep. Hey, yo, birthday boy fell asleep first. Do we have to mess with him? And so they did. One kid grabs a permanent marker and begins drawing stuff on his face. No. Another kid takes the entire bag of Cheetos and begins dumping it on his chest and putting Cheetos in his pockets. Cheetos here, some Cheetos there, mountain of Cheetos right here, Cheetos in your pocket. Nice. Then one kid takes a raw hot dog out of the fridge and puts it in his ear. Yeah, hot dog. And that's what woke him up. What's going on? Why am I covered in Cheetos? Don't look in the mirror. What do you mean? But the thing is, Ryan didn't see this as some sort of lighthearted prank. He saw red and began freaking the absolute heck out. You guys are dead. He begins throwing stuff all around the basement. Plates are shattering, windows broken. He takes the tiniest kid there, named Jensen. I'm Jensen. Picks him up and throws him at the flat screen TV. Jensen's fine, he's got a couple bruises, but the TV is destroyed, and pretty much so is the entire basement. His parents then wake up, come downstairs to see what's going on, and they freak out as well. They send everybody home, and Ryan was grounded for a month. One of my videos changed this kid's life? I don't know about all that, but it actually inspired him, he said. So he watched one of my stories about one of these businesses that kids ran in their school, and that's when it hit him. You know what? I could run a hustle too. And he did. He started small with gum and stickers. That week he made $90. His next move, he sold Venom energy drinks. And in just 2 weeks, he made $200. And these wins just kept building his confidence. After that, he decided he was gonna step up a lot. He was gonna make his own website and sell his own streetwear clothing brand. He called it Hype District, and he actually has a website. If you want to check it out, just Google Hype District Canva, and you can see it for yourself. And my friends, this is what happens when you respect the hustle. Christmas break had just started, and this one kid in the neighborhood had a huge yard. His backyard was long, and at the end of it, there was this hill that was pretty big. Well, then it snowed a lot. So he grabbed the shovel and he went to work. He used the snow to make his hill even bigger, and then he carved out 3 different sledding tracks. Yes. Yes. This is gonna be awesome. These tracks had barriers, even jumps. When he was done, he strung Christmas lights around the yard, and he set up speakers blasting holiday music. And pretty soon, all the kids in the neighborhood noticed this, and they all wanted to have some fun. Alright, I'm charging $5 to get in, but that includes a sled, Christmas music, and free hot chocolate. I'm in! And that night, the yard looked like a festival. A line of kids from the neighborhood, cash in hand, everybody in snowsuits, sleds sliding down the hill, and Christmas music blasting. Even the parents were there, all hanging out with each other. This is actually pretty cool. I can't believe the kids did this. I know, right? It was a great night, and eventually everybody went home. But that kid used the money he made that night to buy his entire family Christmas gifts, and that is beautiful. One day, randomly, this kid told his teacher, "My grandma died." Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, that night, the teacher emails the mom. "I just wanted to say, I'm thinking of your family. Deborah was such a good woman. May she rest in peace." The mom reads it, and she freezes. Wait, what? Her mother-in-law wasn't dead. She was literally at bingo that night. A few minutes later, a different mom from school calls her. We're all gonna miss her so much. She was such an incredible woman. No, I'm sorry, there must be some sort of confusion. She's not dead. By the end of the night, half of the neighborhood is sending their condolences. Everyone thinks Grandma's gone. This one family even dropped off a casserole. She then confronts her kid. Hi, did you tell everyone that Grandma died?" "Yes." "Why?" "I don't actually know." The mom then calls her mother-in-law to warn her about this entire situation. "Oh, hi, sweetie. B27. Crap. Hey, Deb, so apparently you died today?" "Oh, well, no one told me. That's good to know." G26. Bingo! This is messed up. So there was this kid named Owen, always polite, quiet, but he was always reminding the class of his peanut allergy. "I have a peanut allergy." And the teacher backed him up every time. And guys, remember, no peanuts in class, please. Thank you. But one kid, Tyler, got sick of hearing it. I'm so sick of hearing this. And he swore Owen was faking this entire thing because he wanted attention. So on a random day, Tyler brought candy for everybody, and he made a big show of it. "Don't worry guys, they're regular M&Ms. Totally safe, Owen, I promise." But they weren't. They were peanut M&Ms. He gave one to Owen, and he ate it. Wait a minute. Everybody was laughing, and Tyler was getting ready to prove that Owen was faking it this entire time, but that's not what happened. Nothing's gonna happen, guys. He's been faking this. Oh, Owen. He begins choking, wheezing, and then he falls out of his chair. The teacher called 911, and Owen was taken to the hospital. And Tyler got suspended for weeks. Yeah, that's messed up. It's this kid's birthday. Normally, his friend group always does something for him at school. Balloons, lunch table celebration, something every year. But this year they plan a prank. Yo, when Steven comes in today, let's not say a word. We're gonna act like we forgot it's his birthday. Oh yeah. Then at the end of the day, we're gonna surprise him with this cupcake. Everyone agrees. They put the cupcake in this dude's locker, saving it for the end of the day. The birthday kid walks in, smiling. He sees his friends. "Hey, what's up, guys?" "Oh, hey, what's up, Steven? Anyway, I'm gonna head to class." "Yeah, me too. All right, see you later, Steven." What? Then lunch comes around, he sits down, and nothing. Did anyone remember what day it is today?" "Yeah, bro. It's Thursday." By last period, he looks crushed. He thinks everyone forgot it was his birthday. The bell rings, and everyone goes home. But here's the problem. The friend group forgot that they were playing a prank and ended up not surprising him, and therefore they forgot it was his birthday altogether. The giant cupcake they bought is still sitting in this dude's locker. Birthday kid goes home super upset. The next morning, the kid goes to his locker. Oh, crap. And that's when he realized he messed up. This wasn't a field trip. It was a setup. Classroom, 12-year-olds, middle of math. All right, class, put your pencils down. We're going on a field trip. Wait, what? Where are we going? You'll see. Everybody line up. They line up, they walk outside the school, they walk down the road, they go through a fence, and then they see it. A vineyard. Isn't this a winery? I'm 12. Stay close. Are we like gonna study grapes or something? Shh, just stay close. They get to the back of the winery, and they see this man. It was her husband. And right behind him was a woman. Another woman. The teacher turns to the class. Okay, everybody, that man is my husband, and that woman is who he's cheating with. Get a good hard look at the two. Stacy, what are you doing? Oh my god, they're on a field trip. That's cute. Just shut up. Class, you all saw this, right? Okay, you are all my witnesses, and I want things out of the house by the end of the day. What? By the end of the day? The kids then line up again behind her and they walk back to school. That teacher then divorced her husband and she got remarried, and they are still together to this day, and they have a very happy marriage, so that's good. So where's my daughter? Yeah, well, we got good news and bad news. This happened the second day of kindergarten. Ella is 5 years old. It's her second day ever riding the bus. The bus route ends at the daycare, and that's where her mom picks her up after work. But on this particular day, the bus pulls up. The kids get off, except for Ella. The daycare staff looks around. Wait a minute, where's Ella? They called her mom. Hi, did you keep Ella home from school today? Because she's not here. What? No, she was in the bus this morning. The mom calls the school. Where is my daughter? She didn't get off her bus today. I have no idea. They had no idea. They panic. The mom panics. 15 minutes later, the school calls the mom back. Hi, we know where she is. we know where she is. She had fallen asleep on the bus. The bus driver never checked the seats. They drove the bus back to the bus depot and locked the bus inside of the garage and left. Ella wakes up alone. On a dark, silent bus, and she's absolutely horrified, as you can imagine. There's no lights, there's no voices. She starts screaming. Ah! Finally, a mechanic hears her and runs over. She's in tears, she's shaking, she's hugging her backpack. The school apologized. The bus driver got fired, and that girl never took a nap on a bus ever again. It's summer camp. Midnight. Most of the cabins are asleep when this kid wakes up to a sound. Hey, did you hear that? The sound is crying somewhere in the woods. It's not a normal cry either, like full-on sobbing, muttering. Is that an animal? Dude, I think it's a person. Well, these two campers sneak out with their flashlights and start searching through the trees. Hello? Anybody out here? Hello, we hear the crying. They find her, a camp counselor sitting on a rock, barefoot, crying. He said he loved me, but then he kissed Jenna on the dock like I don't exist. They're campers and she's a counselor. This is not their business. Do you want us to get like another counselor or something? I can call some... No, I'm fine. Don't tell anybody you saw me. What the heck? The next morning, she's at breakfast and she's acting normal, like she wasn't just scream crying into a pine tree 8 hours before this. But that rock that she was sitting on, they called that rock Breakup Rock for years after that. This is absolutely insane. So Rampart High School was a blue ribbon school. Good grades, solid reputation, but they had barely any money. So the principal has an idea to rent out the gymnasium to make some extra cash. And someone comes up, they want to use it on a Saturday. They say it's just a small event. The guy says, yeah, it's for a church dance, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., 1,000 people max. Well, Saturday night hits, and it's a full-blown rave. Lights, fog machines, thumping bass, it's packed. Over 5,000 people show up. People are drinking, there's a bunch of other crazy stuff going on, and this isn't just a rumor, it was on the news. Here's the article. See, 5,000 people. What is this? The superintendent said this was a major mistake, and that they were manipulated by these guys. The rave went on from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. all frickin' night. The company that threw the rave said that they never lied, and that kids will be kids, but come on, who would do this? After the rave, the gym was completely destroyed, and I mean like destroyed. The floors, the bleachers, everything. The gym could not be used for the rest of the school year. People start calling the school Rave Part instead of Rampart, and whenever a student from the school's choir sings the national anthem at a school event, they always end it with this. And the home of the rave. Home of the rave.
So this kid spent his summer at yard sales. Every Saturday, he'd be out in the neighborhood scanning tables looking for sneakers at these garage sales. Didn't matter if they were brand new or perfect condition, any sneaker with a logo worked. Nike, Adidas, doesn't matter, and he was finding them. Some were $5 a pair, some were $8 a pair, some were free. Just take them, man. I don't want them anymore. Fantastic. He would take them home, scrub them with a toothbrush, swap them with brand new laces. He would then throw them up on Facebook Marketplace and eBay. And people were buying these shoes. $40, $80, sometimes even over $100. He said it was crazy how many rare shoes people were selling for like $5. His brother would come home every day from working at Subway, and this kid would just be sitting there counting his cash. His parents finally asked, "Kevin, where's all this money coming from, man?" And he just opened up his closet. Look at this. Reselling sneakers. By the end of summer, he had made more than his brother made the entire summer at Subway, all from reselling $5 sneakers. You gotta respect the hustle.
This girl was 13 years old when this happened. Her stepmom had been in her life for 3 years, but they still weren't close. She didn't listen to her stepmom, she didn't really trust her, and she would make that clear.
I don't trust you.
I don't care.
Well, that week, her dad was overseas for a funeral. So it was just her and her stepmom. And he was going to be there for 3 weeks. So every day, her stepmom would pick her up from school at 3. But she would always come out of school late, like 30 to 45 minutes late, which is kind of crazy and a bit annoying.
I've been waiting here for 45 minutes. This is the 3rd day in a row.
And the kid would just roll her eyes.
Get over it.
So one day, the stepmom decides she's not going to wait. She's not going to show up. She's going to let her figure it out herself. So the next day, she doesn't go to the school. She stays home and then she just waits. So at 7 p.m., she finally is like, yo, I should call my stepdaughter. But she doesn't answer. So she calls the school. Hi, yes, I'm wondering, is Kayla Johnson still there? Kayla Johnson? No, she walked home at around 3:30. Oh no. Yeah, she messed up. She panics, she calls the neighbors, she calls the police. Eventually, they find her in somebody's backyard a few blocks away. What happened was she tried cutting through yards to get home. Well, one yard had a dog, and it bit her in the leg. Badly. She limped away, realized her phone was dead, so she sat down and just cried. I mean, yeah, she shouldn't have went through someone's backyard, but still, this girl's 13. Her stepmom is responsible for her. The dad caught a flight that night. Are you kidding me? You let this happen. I'm at the airport right now. I am
So done.
The daughter now has a permanent scar, and the dad left the stepmom. And like I said, the girl was 13 years old. You can't just do that. Messed up. This kid turned a broken vending machine into a business. So during construction at this one school, it got moved to this weird corner by the band room. Most people ignore it. It's kind of like cracked. The lights don't work in there. It just looks off. This one freshman notices something. If you tilt the keypad kind of forward, it'll come off. There's a bunch of random little switches and buttons behind it. And he realized if you just press a bunch of these buttons, snacks just start falling out of the vending machine. This broken vending machine. What does this do? Oh my gosh. Oh gosh, everything's hot. So instead of going nuts, he keeps this quiet. Starts posting on Snapchat. $1 chips, meet by the band room. By this point, he had gathered a bunch of snacks from this vending machine. And people were lining up to pay for these snacks. And the thing is, he's selling these for cheaper than the vending machine charged because, well, he got them for free. By the end of the first week, it was a full-blown snack operation and he made $80. But one day, a custodian was kind of watching him from afar and saw what he was doing. What is that kid doing? Nice. Dear God. The day after that, the vending machine was moved. But by that point, most of the snacks were gone anyway, and he made a good amount of money. So, hey, you gotta respect the hustle. This kid's stepdad worked for Coca-Cola, and because of that, there was a rule in their house. No Pepsi products, ever. Not in the fridge, not at restaurants, and not at birthday parties. If they were out to dinner, yeah, I'll take a Coke with my chicken tenders. I'm sorry, we only have Pepsi products. Yeah, nope, pack it up. We are leaving. We're going somewhere else, kids. But my chicken tenders. I said we're going somewhere else. Even when they were hosting parties at their house, if any of their guests came with Pepsi products, pour it out or throw it away. Those are not allowed in this house. I understand some people have a preference between Pepsi and Coke, but this just went a little too far. That dad sounds insane. Every day this kid would come home with bruises and cuts, and his mom would always ask, Oh my god, sweetie, what happened to you? Oh, just football, Mom. It's rough. But here's the truth. It wasn't from football. After school, there was this fight club that was in somebody's garage who lived near the school. It wasn't just like 1 or 2 kids. It was like 30 of them. They would gather at this guy's garage, they would circle up, and they would throw down. And here's the thing, the guy that hosted this, his parents worked late, so they were never home after school. Alright, gather in! Round 1. Martouche and Kenny. You ready? Let's rock, Salmon Man. And they weren't going easy on each other either. It was insane. There was split lips, busted teeth, and what's the rule of Fight Club? You know it. Nobody talked about it outside of this circle. So every night this kid would walk back in his house, beat up, bloody, and he would say the same thing. Football practice, Mom. It was rough, but it was never football. That's insane. It happened during lunch. A kid in a black hoodie walked to the center of the cafeteria. He unzips his giant duffel bag, pulls out a gallon of milk, and dumps it right there on the floor. Then he heads to a different part of the cafeteria, pulls out another gallon of milk, and dumps that on the floor. He's just dumping milk all around the lunchroom. Pretty soon it's total chaos, and a kid slips and sprains his wrist. Then the janitor runs in and points at a kid. It was him, right there. What? He was pointing at Owen, this quiet kid that never did anything wrong. He just happened to be wearing a very similar black hoodie, but he was just sitting there eating his lunch. It wasn't him, but they pulled him out of the cafeteria. He went to the office, he had to call home. They told him he was facing a 10-day suspension and a possible disciplinary hearing in front of the school board, and other students tried to help. It wasn't him. Owen wouldn't do that. He was just eating his lunch. This is not fair. But the janitor said he was sure. Black hoodie, same build, it was him. I'm positive. It took 3 days for the school to finally pull the security footage. And it wasn't Owen. They saw the real kid do this and run out the side door. And in the footage, there was Owen, sitting there, eating his lunch peacefully, and the school dropped everything. No hearing, no suspension, they apologized, but Owen never forgot what he went through, and he hates that school to this day. Yeah, I would too. So every day, during class, she made her students sit in a circle, and they had to confess something they felt guilty about. It was called the guilt circle. She said it helped build trust, but it felt more like public humiliation. Every morning, right after the bell rang, one by one, share something you regret, something you're hiding, a dark secret. And if you really couldn't think of anything, she would say, that's fine, but you're going twice tomorrow. It would be stuff like, I ate my sister's Halloween candy. I cheated on a vocab quiz. But after a while, that wasn't good enough for her. She wanted them to go deeper. I spread a horrible rumor about my friend. I took money from my mom's purse, and she loved it. Oh, why do you think you did that? Do you think she knows? No. Day after day, week after week, this is how things went down. Until one day a kid stood up and said, you know what, Mrs. Keller, you should feel guilty. You make us say this stuff in front of you and all of our classmates, and then I bet you go laugh about it in the teacher's lounge. The whole room froze. She didn't say anything. And I guess that was all it took, because the next day, the guilt circle stopped. For real though, that is super messed up and completely unacceptable. This game was banned from the school. It was a game called Get Down, Mr. President, and it worked like this. Anytime, anywhere, somebody could yell, Get down, Mr. President, and every kid in the area would have to put their finger to their ear, like this. Kinda like how Secret Service agents do. But here's the thing, the last person to put their finger to their ear would get tackled by everybody in the area. Gosh darn it, get 'em. It would be a full-on dog pile. In the hallways, courtyards, band practice one time. It got so bad that one day a kid was tackled into the water fountain and the water fountain fell off the wall. Water was spraying everywhere. One teacher joined in one time and tackled a student. He was then fired, obviously. The school eventually banned it. They were calling it a coordinated ambush activity. They put it in the announcements and everything, but that just made it worse. Because people still shouted, Get down, Mr. President. And the kids went, should I play or get in trouble? And most kids still played. That's crazy. This is so freaking cool. So it was fall, and a couple kids, they decide to make a backyard carnival. Obviously, it was nothing official. Just some old toys, a plastic table, and whatever junk they could find. One kid stacked some soup cans on a chair. Knock them down, you win a prize. The other kid taped a bucket to the fence. 3 throws for 1 quarter. But then they got creative. Somebody dragged over a busted wagon and tied it to a bike. And suddenly, it was a roller coaster. You ready, bro? Get in. I'm in, man. Let's go. All right. This is awesome! Another kid tied a tire to a tree branch, and there you had it, a swing. They did it just for them at first, like a fun way to spend the afternoon. But then kids from the block started to show up. Yo, what is this? It's a carnival, bro. Come on. By the end of the day, the entire backyard was packed, and a ton of kids from the neighborhood were bringing their own stuff over. It was insane. Candy, prizes, homemade rides. Parents were even showing up, like, what the heck is happening back here? But they loved it. They thought it was super creative. It wasn't professional. It wasn't safe. But for that one day, that backyard was a freaking carnival, baby. And that's awesome.
It started with a long yellow slip and slide going down the hill at the park. This kid had it set up with a hose and a couple buckets of soapy water. And at the bottom, he had lined up these kiddie pools to help break the fall so he wouldn't get like that grass burn. At first, it was just him and his few friends in this one slip and slide. But when other kids started to gather around wanting to take their turn, he said, "Okay, everyone chill. $5 gets you 5 runs down the slide." And people paid. By the next week, he had 3 slip and slides side by side. One with a sprinkler arch, one with cool inflatable bumpers, and one had a tunnel attachment that would spray water down as you went through. Each one was fancier than the last. It was basically a water park in the middle of a neighborhood park. Kids were bringing towels, parents were even coming with lawn chairs to get a tan while their kids slip and slided down the hill. One kid really wanted to slide down, but he didn't have any cash. "You take Venmo?" "Sorry, dude, cash only." "Ah, man, okay. You know what? It's real hot today, so just come on. Have fun." That sounds absolutely awesome. You gotta respect the hustle.
Yo, did they lock the vending machine? Yeah, after what happened to Steven. What happened to Steven? So this kid Steven, 7th grader, he's got a total sweet tooth. Well, one day during lunch, he brings like $15 in change, dumps it in the vending machine, and he goes to town. 6 honey buns, 2 Pop-Tarts, and a pack of powdered donuts. Back to back to back to frickin' back. Now, a teacher walks by and says, "Hey, that's a lot of sugar, buddy." "It's my money and it's my stomach." 2 periods later, Steven is in PE and he's running laps when suddenly he stops dead in his tracks. Hands on knees, face pale, and then he pukes everywhere. Like a full cinnamon glaze explosion all over the gym floor. Janitor shows up unfazed because, of course, janitors are freaking awesome. Well, after that, the principal has a full-on panic attack. The school blames the vending machines. The next morning, padlocks are on both machines, all the snacks have been taken out, and there's a sign there. Until further notice, snacks are suspended. Now kids are furious with Steven, like he's a frickin' honey bun villain. Every time Steven walks down the hallway. "Thanks a lot, Steven. Really could have used a Pop-Tart today, man. Screw you." Tried to apologize, but it was too late. Once the snacks had gone, there was no coming back. Poor kid. There was this kid in 8th grade, and to be clear, nobody liked him. Why? Well, because he was frickin' mean. He would steal people's food and say, "Mine, survival of the fittest." He barked at the PE teacher once. Ruff. And he had this really insane talent of making other people cry. Kid was a certified menace. But one day during lunch, he picks up one of those tiny square milk cartons, and he sees someone across the way and says this, "Hey nerd, catch this." He winds up, he launches the milk carton, and he misses. The milk carton missed the kid he was trying to throw it at, but it hit the security guard in the chest. "Oh, you, come here now." And let me say this, the security guard was a huge, buff dude. People respected him because they were terrified of him. "Oh, no. I'm so sorry." Well, this 8th grader is now starting to panic because he's terrified. "I said, come here now." And he starts walking over there, slowly, in shame and terror. And just like that, every single student in the cafeteria begins cheering. Justice. Justice is served. Who's the nerd now? Loser. Everyone was just so happy that this kid, who seemed to never get in trouble but was always so horrible to other people, was finally getting the karma he deserved. It started with one kid and a toaster. One day, this one kid brings a toaster to school, like an actual toaster. He plugged it into the wall outlet by the lockers and began making Pop-Tarts before first period. "Morning, bro, what you doing?" "Oh, I'm making my breakfast. S'mores Pop-Tarts today." "Is that your toaster?" "Absolutely." Well, this pre-class breakfast situation began to grow pretty quickly. By the next week, different groups of kids had brought in their own stone toaster. They were cooking up Eggos, jelly toast. People were bringing flasks of syrup. One kid brought in one of those electric flat iron stoves. Soon, every morning throughout the school, there were entire breakfast zones, each zone cooking a different breakfast item. And it was kind of awesome. These zones were behind the bleachers, in the band room, in a corner of the library. Teachers were finding pancake batter in the sinks. It was a mess. Well, quickly, the school shut it all down, but the smell of cinnamon lingered for a while. Then, my friends, on the last day of school, during morning announcements, which they always had a student do, people heard this. Oh my God. Did you guys smell that? The sound was the sizzling of bacon coming through the intercom in every room of the school, and people were beginning to smell the bacon. And right before they were able to turn off the intercom, everybody heard this. You can never take our breakfast. Long live breakfast. That kid wanted to end the year a legend, so he cooked bacon on the intercom to get back at the school for shutting down their breakfast clubs. What is this? You weren't supposed to see that. So this one teacher, she always had a little black notebook on her desk. Said it was for classroom notes. Everybody assumed it meant grades or it was like a behavior log. No one thought twice, but it wasn't that. It was a burn book. Straight up, page after page, trashing her students, all by name. One kid was labeled future con artist. One was fifth period manipulator, crybaby. One entry said, can't read social cues. Parents are either clueless or stupid. Like real crazy stuff. And nobody knew until parent-teacher conferences. One mom is sitting down at this teacher's desk for the meeting. The teacher had been flipping through some papers before and left the tiny little notebook open without even realizing it. She gets up and she says, 1 second, I think I left your son's quiz folder in the copy room. I'll be right back. She leaves. The mom's sitting there, waiting. She glances at the teacher's desk, and she sees her kid's name at the top of a page of a tiny notebook. Manipulative, fake with adults, should be bullied, total snake? What is this? She flips a page. Another student. Then another, then another. Just tons of students being roasted in this little notebook by the teacher. She goes to the hallway and flags the parents in who are waiting for their time slot for the conference. By the time the teacher walks back in, all these parents are huddled around her desk reading this little black notebook. She was caught, red frickin' handed. All the teacher could say was this: conferences are over. She grabs a little notebook, puts it in her purse, and she leaves the room. And suddenly that teacher is on leave. And she's the stupid one, because the moment you write stuff down like that, you better be prepared for somebody to read it. And they did. That's nuts. It was supposed to be a regular Easter egg hunt. Colorful eggs, kids running around, but for some reason that year it went completely off the rails. This was some years back. The school threw an Easter egg hunt, and the whole community showed up. Dozens of kids in the field, baskets in their hand. And then there's the parents. Stick with me, sweetie. I know where they put the gold ones. Don't just stand there. Go right there, under the bench. They weren't just cheering them on. They were coaching them. They were controlling the situation. Some parents are diving through bushes. Oh, I see one. Get back. One dad grabs 5 eggs and gives them to his kid. Hey, yo, that was my kid's egg. You saw us going for that. Oh, shut your mouth. Your kid's a loser. Then it pops off. Moms are throwing themselves across the grass. Dads are squaring up. Yeah. Come on, man. You want some of this? You got, man. What you got, huh? Oh, It got so bad that by the end, 5 people were injured and one of them had to be airlifted by a helicopter to the nearest hospital. Thankfully, nobody died. But from that year on, the school had a strict rule that the Easter egg hunts were only for the kids. That makes perfect sense to me. The wrong grandkid. Every few months, she would get an envelope in the mail. Oh, sweet. It was Grandma's handwriting. Inside of it, a crisp $20 bill. And a note that said, for gas. I don't even drive, Mom. Grandma's old, sweetie. Let's not question it. Money's money. Years go by and the letters keep coming. Always the same message. For gas. Then one summer, the entire family's over for a barbecue. Well, her cousin pulls up. New car, loud music bumping. He's about 5 years older than she is. What's up, family? Grandma hugs him. She's laughing. Oh, I see that gas money's going to good use. The cousin goes, gas money? Yeah, I've been mailing it to you for years. Well, this girl overheard that. Grandma, you've been mailing me that. Oh, my fault. What had happened was the grandma had written down this address years ago. It was the wrong address. It was the address of Ashley Johnson. The grandkid she meant to send it to was Adam Johnson. So all she wrote on the letter was A. Johnson. You can see where the confusion would come into play. Well, Grandma, looks like you owe me like $300 now. No. Your cousin probably needed that money more than you do. I mean, look at your nice car. You got plenty of it. That's hilarious. This woman's daughter begged to learn piano, like for weeks. So finally her mom says, okay, but I'm not buying you a real piano, it's a keyboard. Doesn't matter, it's fine, her daughter's still super hyped. So they go to Target and her mom buys her this keyboard. But there's a catch. Okay, so you want piano lessons, right? Well, here is what we're gonna do. 6 months minimum, no quitting early, and you practice 20 minutes a day. And the kid agrees. At first, it's fine. She's learning songs, she's really enjoying this. Then week 8 hits. She starts not practicing, she starts skipping. One day here, one day there. You know, she's getting more homework, school's stressful, she can't do it all. And her mom reminds her, listen, every day you don't practice, you owe me those minutes. You will make them up. Then comes the school trip. 3 days, 2 nights, her entire grade's going. She's been excited about this for months. And the mom goes, hey, so I know your trip is coming up this weekend, but you've missed 11 practice days on the piano. So before you go, you need to make up 11 hours of piano practice. The kid's like, wait, what? Yeah, if you do not make up the 11 hours, you are not going on that trip. So she has to make up 11 hours of piano practice. But the thing is, the trip is like 4 days away. That's a lot of piano practice. The dad tries to step in. Hey, we already paid for the trip. This is kind of ridiculous, don't you think? Kevin, I am teaching our daughter a lesson. If you don't want to support me on this, then get out. Well, the daughter tries to make up those 11 hours, but with homework and sleep, she can't do it, and her mom forces her to stay home from the trip. That is not okay.
This teacher is insane for this. This class had just finished reading Lord of the Flies in English, and the teacher? She was passionate, maybe too passionate. So after they had finished reading this Lord of the Flies, the next day she tells them this. Class, we are going into the woods tomorrow. Bring a backpack full of things. We're gonna live like the boys on the island. So next day they come with backpacks full of stuff and they head to the woods. No rules, no roles, just chaos. She hands them bandanas and points to the woods behind the school. All right, go. 1 teacher and 20 students. And these weren't just regular kids. Somebody brought a pillowcase full of flour and was whacking people with it. Another kid filled a spray bottle with perfume and was spraying in another kid's eyes, trying to blind them. Take that. Soon there was turf wars, alliances, groups getting ambushed. Kids were using mud as war paint. They were getting feral, and the teacher was just standing there at the edge of the woods watching this go down like it's some sort of social experiment. Yes. 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 And it went way too far. Kids were getting bloody noses, one person was throwing up profusely, I don't know why, and the teacher didn't get in trouble for this, not even like a warning or anything. The principal didn't even know about any of this until a parent called a couple days later, but he still did nothing. And the crazy part is, the next year, this teacher did the same exact thing. Honestly, that sounds kind of fun.
It was supposed to be a normal middle school sleepover, but then things got crazy. It was 4 friends, they were all in 8th grade. They had the sleeping bags in the basement, Nerf guns, soda, the usual. They go upstairs, they're playing video games, but then one of the friends says this. Yo, what's that behind the fence over there? Oh, that's my neighbor's hot tub. We should go in it. Oh, wait a minute. They laughed it off at first, but 1:30 a.m. hits. The parents are asleep, and they went outside. Are we really doing this? This is a bad idea, guys. Shut your mouth, Ralphie. Everyone chill out. We're going in. Next thing you know, all 4 of them are sitting in the neighbor's hot tub, snacking on Doritos, and someone's playing music from their phone. Okay, this is really nice. Pure relaxation, boys. Pure relaxation. All right, we should get out soon, guys. Shut the hell up. Well, that's when, all of a sudden, the backyard floodlights go on. Oh my god, run. Yeah, there's 4 kids in my hot tub right now. Get out of here. The next morning, everybody's in the kitchen having breakfast. Everyone's worried about last night. Well, the doorbell rings. Oh, I'll get that. Wait, no. Hi, Mr. Johnson. Hi, Carol. We should have a conversation. She found out everyone gets in big trouble, but that sleepover went down in history as one of the greatest of all time. It was week 2 at summer camp. One kid realized the lake wasn't just for swimming. It was for business. He dragged a canoe down to the dock, and instead of just paddling around, he offered rides. And these weren't just regular canoe rides. He called them customized canoe experiences. The first customer was a kid trying to impress his crush. The canoe kid cleans the canoe, he pulls out a Bluetooth speaker, puts on love songs, throws down blankets as seat cushions, and hands them a pack of Twizzlers. Boom. $10 romantic canoe ride. This is nice. I like canoes. The next ride was a totally different vibe. Two kids wanted to skip rocks in the middle of the lake. The canoe kid plays rap music and brings a bunch of flat rocks in a bucket. He takes them out there and lets them go wild. Boom, $10. Soon he's offering packages. There was the silence special for the kids that were fed up with their bunkmates. Soft music, calm paddling, and no talking for 20 minutes. It was like a meditation on the lake. And these customized experiences were spreading like wildfire. Everybody wanted to get a trip on this magical canoe. And by the end of camp, he made a pretty decent chunk of money. And the kids loved the service he provided. So yeah, you gotta respect the hustle. It started as this dumb thing. Some kid threw their own backpack into the air to be funny. Oh, it got caught on the top of one of the worst trees on campus. Thin branches, really high up, impossible to climb it seemed like. They tried everything. Here, I'll throw my shoe at it. Dang it. I'll throw a trash can at it. Dang it. Nothing was working. That's when one kid suggested this. Guys, we should call Squirrel Boy. No way, dude. Bro, we can't call Squirrel Boy. But there was no other option. So every school has that one kid. Well, this school had Squirrel Boy. He wore fingerless gloves. He said things like, "The ground is only a suggestion." He once perched on top of the basketball hoop during a game. "Get on from there." He scaled the brick wall on the side of the school building just to prove a point. And one time, he sat at the top of the flagpole for the entire lunch period, perched. Everybody would make fun of him, but on that day, they needed him. Somebody texted him. 10 minutes later, jogged around the corner eating trail mix. Didn't ask what happened. He saw the backpack, he saw the tree, and he knew what he had to do. I got this. He literally climbed the entire tree in like 3 seconds, and he threw that backpack down. The second he got down, he just walked away. Thanks, Squirrel Boy. Yeah, thanks, Squirrel Boy. Squirrel Boy's cool now. And from that moment on, nobody made fun of Squirrel Boy ever again.
So it's midnight on a Friday, and two friends, Ryan and Caleb, they sneaked out to get Taco Bell. So they grabbed the car keys off the kitchen counter. We'll bring the car back before anybody notices. Heck yeah, dude, this is so awesome. They get in the car and they take off, windows down, music blasting. They're laughing, having the time of their life, when the car begins to make a little puttering noise. Dude, what's that noise? Oh, it's nothing, bro. Don't even worry about it. But it wasn't nothing. The car begins to slow down and then it stops completely. Oh, crap, we're out of gas. Dude, are you serious? Yeah, but look, there's a gas station right there. We'll just push the car, we'll be fine. So they put the car in neutral, put the car's hazards on, and they pushed the car up to this gas station. Oh, we did it. Perfect. Oh crap, I don't have my wallet. Can you put some gas in? Yeah, I don't have my wallet either. What? Do you have Apple Pay? No, they didn't even have any frickin' money. Even if they made it to Taco Bell, they wouldn't have been able to buy anything anyway. That's insane. So they put the car back in neutral and they started pushing. 1 mile, then 2. A cop car passes once. Oh. But it doesn't stop. By the time they rolled it back into the driveway, the sun was beginning to rise. They're drenched in sweat, they're dead silent, and they get inside. Thankfully, everybody is still asleep. Bro, dude, that was insane. And the crazy part is, I'm still freaking hungry, man. That's crazy.
After winter break, this new girl transferred to this school. Her name was Nicole. Nicole was kind of shy, she wore the same fleece jacket every single day, and at first, during lunch every single day, she would eat in her car by herself. But after a week, one of the girls from this lunch table decided to invite her to sit with them. "Hey, I saw you eating in your car during lunch. Why don't you sit with us tomorrow?" "Alright, yeah. Thanks." So the next day comes around and she's sitting at this table. She's not talking much at all. She's just smiling politely and eating her lunch. And she sat at this table for the next few days. And every day during lunch, she would pull out this tiny folded note and she would read it to herself. Then she would smile and put it back in her lunchbox. Well, one of the girls at the table asks this. "Hey, so what's with the note thing? You do it every day." And Nicole says this. "Oh, well, my nanny writes me a note with my lunch and she's done that every day since I was little." Then another girl goes, isn't that like kind of embarrassing though? Like, that's super babyish. You're not in 3rd grade anymore. Nicole's face changed. Oh, well, I mean, she does it for my little siblings too. It's just something that she's always done. It's just super weird. The next day, she was gone. Back to eating in her car. No one saw her at lunch after that day. The person that originally invited her talked to her friends. She wasn't happy. You guys are horrible for that. She's had a really rough home life and that nanny's like a mom to her, and I just can't believe you. And the worst part is, her friends laughed at her for sticking up for Nicole. That's messed up. I ate half my meatloaf, but she said it wasn't enough. So one day this kid goes through the lunch line. He gets his lunch tray, meatloaf, peas, chocolate milk, all that stuff, which meatloaf for lunch is crazy, but anyway. He eats a little bit of it. Obviously it's not that great, so he throws it in the garbage. But a lunch monitor sees this happen and walks over, like she caught him shoplifting. You're wasting school resources. If you're not gonna eat, don't take food. I wasn't hungry. Well, next time you're eating alone, she writes him up on the spot. And the next day he has lunch detention. He walks in expecting to be alone, but there's another kid already sitting there. Very similar story. He didn't finish his corn and got written up by the same lunch monitor. Both of them go home that day and tell their parents. And the parents, they do not take this lightly. Calls get made, emails are sent. Apparently, this lunch monitor has been doing this all year, punishing kids for not cleaning their trays, for not eating every last bite. By the end of the week, she is pulled from the lunchroom. Next week, there's another lady taking her spot. New lunch monitor and a totally better vibe. From then on, if you weren't hungry, you could just throw your food out. What a concept. That lady's insane. Oh my gosh, we made our first $2. No, we actually made $1. We gotta pay the security guard. Here. In some neighborhoods, kids run lemonade stands. You know, cute little summer businesses, 50 cents a cup, smiles all around. Not on this block though. On this block, you needed protection. Every Saturday in this one neighborhood cul-de-sac area, these kids would all set up their lemonade stands. Some were different. Some had like strawberry lemonade, others had regular lemonade, some was selling like fruit punch. You know, it was a nice little thing that the neighborhood kids were doing. Anyway, they'd be all set up and they're good to go. But then here comes this 8th grader. Bike gloves on, backpack over one shoulder. He pulls up to the first stand. Nice stand he got here. Good traffic spot, nice weather today. Would be a shame if someone knocked it over. Little girl selling lemonade just blinks. She's almost gonna cry. But then her friend says, just give him one of our dollars. Hey, it's just a protection fee, okay? Covers you for the whole day. Accidents happen, you know. Have a good one. And he goes to the next one. You guys paying for protection today? You know, kids are scrambling, they're digging in their shoebox of change. Hands over $1, he nods. Pleasure doing business with you. And just like that, he's off to the next lemonade stand. Kid made $12 in fees that Saturday alone. Now, this guy wouldn't just take the money and leave. And although he came off kind of tough and mean, he actually would stay there all day and watch over these lemonade stands. So I guess they actually were paying for protection. Now, it was a pretty nice neighborhood, so nothing ever actually happened. But, hey, you know, you gotta respect the hustle, I guess. From now on, you sit here by yourself. I hate my life. This kid was 10 years old, smartest kid in class. He aced every test, every assignment, but he was also super funny. Everybody loved him. And you see, the classrooms were set up like this. Round tables, and each table had like 5 people at it. Well, in this class, everybody wanted this kid at their table because he was just such a good time. That is until one day, the teacher deemed him too distracting. She pulled him away from his 5 friends and made him sit in a desk facing the wall at the back of the room. Sit down. And he was the only one back there. The rest of the class were sitting in their groups. Group projects, he worked alone. He wasn't allowed to talk. Week after week, he kept thinking, surely I'll be moved back to my table soon. But the teacher never let him. And slowly, he could feel the gap building. His friends got closer with each other and farther from him. That desk in the corner became his life. For 10 months. A punishment that was supposed to last a week lasted for 10 months. And that is not fair. So this kid gets yelled at for not turning in math homework. Teacher goes, you'll never make it in the real world like this. And the kid said, I'm not trying to make it in your world. Class laughs, the teacher's annoyed. Well, here's the thing. This kid's been working with his cousin on buying and fixing up old vending machines. They would then stock it and put it places. By senior year, he's got a handful of these vending machines. And he's pulling more money from these machines than most people make at full-time jobs. And it reminded me of this book I read, 5 Types of Wealth. It'll help you rethink how you're living your life and how you're spending your time. And what this book goes over will lead to success and happiness in multiple areas of your life. I promise. This class is so messed up for this. It's middle school science, and this teacher is a sweet older woman. She's soft-spoken, she's always kind, she truly cares about her students. She's one of the good ones. Well, one year she bought every single one of her students their own pencil case with her own money. She filled them with rulers, pencils, erasers, everything they could possibly need. Class, no need to bring supplies, I got you, okay? So each of her students has these full pencil cases, and one day she steps out for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's it. Snap, thud, whip. The students start chucking these pencil cases across the room, snapping rulers, breaking pencils, breaking the zippers, and they're all laughing like maniacs. She just walks back in and she freezes. Wait, what happened? No one answers. She picks up a broken pencil case and holds it in her hands, and she just starts crying in front of everybody. What would you guys do this? Why would you guys do this? Super messed up. Well, the next day she comes into class. She says this. Class, I'm so sorry for getting upset yesterday. That was not good of me. I should have been more composed. I just wanted you guys to have everything you needed, okay? Anyway, I brought you all some candy. And then she gave them candy. Dude, they were the ones that should have apologized to her. She was one of the best teachers in that school. And students who were in that class say that this messes them up to this day. Which it should. So there was this teacher, strict, rule obsessed. Didn't matter what the rule was. If you didn't follow it, you were done. One day, this student, let's call him Marcus, starts coughing in class. He reaches into his backpack and pulls out his inhaler. Doesn't say anything, doesn't interrupt the class, he just takes his inhaler. And the teacher stops the entire lesson. Excuse me, what is that? That's my inhaler, I have asthma. She walks over, takes it out of his hand, and goes, you can't just use things like this during my instruction. I'm putting this on my desk. Now, I forgot to mention that this teacher was kind of one of those super old, mean teachers, so, you know, maybe she's losing it, because who would do this? Anyway, this kid tries to explain, but she doesn't care. She takes his inhaler and puts it on her desk. If it's that serious, go to the nurse. Otherwise, follow classroom rules. Marcus just sits there, wheezing, staring at the inhaler in front of the room. Well, after class, he actually goes to the nurse and tells her what happened. And the nurse is absolutely livid. She talks to the principal, she calls Marcus's mom, she files a report. Within 24 hours, there's a giant meeting at the school, and this teacher's there. No one knows exactly what happened in that meeting, but the principal pulled Marcus aside afterwards and told him that he was free to use his inhaler whenever he felt he needed to. Marcus never said another word to her in her class, but he used his inhaler whenever he wanted, and she didn't say a single thing. Now, this may not be related to what she did, but at the end of that year, that teacher retired. Good. At this one house, Wi-Fi didn't belong to the kids. It belonged to her. Every single night at 9 p.m., this kid's mom would walk over to the router, unplug it, and announce, the internet is closed, see you tomorrow. Didn't matter if you needed the internet for something, she would always unplug it at 9 p.m. Well, one night, this kid is sitting at his kitchen table. He's finishing a huge essay that's due at midnight. The clock says 8:59 p.m. He's typing, he doesn't really notice the time, but he's cooking, he's writing this freaking essay. He's ready to get an A on this thing. 1 minute passes, boom, it's 9 p.m. What happened? I'm sorry. You had all day to prepare for this. Too bad. This is a huge essay. I'm almost done. I need like just 10 more minutes, please. I said you should have planned better, son. Too bad. This kid is absolutely livid. He tries to figure out a way to get Wi-Fi from his neighbor's house or to have someone drive him to like a Starbucks or something, but he couldn't figure it out. Well, midnight comes and goes and the essay was never uploaded. And he's worried because if he gets a 0 on this, his grade is going to severely suffer. Well, the next day at school, he tells his teacher what happened, and the teacher looks appalled. Yo, your mom cut the Wi-Fi while you were doing your essay? Yeah. Man, that sucks. Listen, I'll extend your deadline for tonight. You should be able to finish it after school. Oh, totally, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Your mom sounds like a piece of work. Yeah, she is. And that night, he was able to finish it. What a good teacher. So this guy's at a crowded park, and there's a bunch of food trucks set up. There's no tables, no benches. Everyone's just sitting and eating on this concrete wall. Well, there's only one open spot left, and he begins walking towards it. And as he gets closer to this wall, he sees this lady rushing towards it. And she's dressed pretty nice, like she just left church or something. She begins jogging, but he beats her there. He walks up to the wall, and right behind it, in the grass, is a huge pile of dog poop, right where your butt would be if you leaned back too much. So naturally, he decides not to sit down. And at that point, she storms up behind him and says,
Seriously? I was gonna sit there.
Go ahead. have a seat. And she sits down. And then 2 seconds later, she screams. She stands up and this dog poop is smeared all over her back. Oh, she says to this guy,
Why didn't you say anything to me?
I didn't know how you were gonna sit down. I thought you were just gonna perch on the ledge like a normal person. And she storms off, furious. But like she did try to raise him there. You kids need to be more responsible. You first. In this one class, late homework gets you an immediate 0. No excuses, and this teacher was brutal about it too. If you can't turn it in on time, you fail. Life doesn't give you extensions, kids. And the thing is, she assigned homework all the time. You know, every week, new homework, the kids would turn it in, but then, listen to this, but then, nothing. No feedback, no grades, nothing gets returned to them. Well, one day, this kid named Johnny, he kinda snaps. Hey miss, just wondering, if life doesn't give you extensions, where's all of our graded homework from the last month? Excuse me, I'm very busy, Johnny. I have a life too, you know. Can't believe you. Well, you know what? Maybe you should finish your homework before you hand us out more, you hypocritical... Office? No. That's fine, but I'm gonna tell Mr. Stevens that he should probably have a look inside your gradebook. Okay, bye. Funny enough, by the next morning, the student portal of that class had been completely updated. She had graded everything. And during class the next day, she changed the late work policy. Yo, why is Tyler working in the hallway? Because democracy is brutal. So this one teacher had a rough week. The class was loud all week, no one listened to her, it was a total chaos week. Friday comes around and instead of teaching, she says, clearly something's wrong with this class dynamic, so let's fix it. She pulls out a stack of paper slips, passes them around, and says, I want each of you to write down the name of the student that you think is holding back this class. Be honest. Kids start looking around. They're confused. And don't worry, this will be anonymous. They all write quietly. Slip by slip, she collects them, throws them into a box. Then she starts reading them out loud. Tyler, 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 sometimes Emma, but mostly Tyler. Tyler again. By the 10th one, Tyler's head is just on his desk. He can't believe this. Well, Tyler, it looks like your classmates think you're the issue. You have anything to say to that? He doesn't. Okay, so Monday you'll be sitting in the hallway during class, doing solo work until further notice, and the rest of the class just stared at him because Tyler had been quite literally democratically voted out of the class. That is actually insane. Are you coming to gym class? Nah, man, I got court. Wait, what? This kid, 7th grade, shows up to school one day in a full-blown suit. Tie, dress shoes, everything. He's carrying a briefcase, everyone's confused, and he just goes, I got court during gym class today. Turns out, this kid started a full-blown student court system. He printed a summons, he made a self-made courtroom in the corner of the library, and he even made a logo. Every charge was student-related. Chewing annoyingly with your mouth open, cutting the lunch line, stealing pencils, and you can plead guilty or go to trial. State your case. She skipped me in line. Do you have any witnesses? Yes, Your Honor, 5 of them. People start requesting trials for dumb stuff. The teachers hear about it, and they think it's absolutely hilarious. Until one day, this kid was messing around and tried to summon the principal to court. For what? For having a terrible haircut. Yeah, the principal didn't take this very well, and he obviously shut it down right then and there. In total, this kid held 17 court cases. I don't know where he got out of all this, but it's honestly genius. What kind of club are you running here? The best kind? One day at this one school, this student figured out that you don't need a teacher sponsor to start a club. All you had to do was fill out a form, write a purpose, and show that there was student interest. This one kid, he invented a club that he called the Indoor Nature Appreciation Society. He said it was for students who loved nature but hated going outdoors. He made posters with stock photos of trees and waterfalls. He took fake meeting photos with his friends. He even listed fake officers. President himself. Vice President also himself. He submitted the paperwork and nobody questioned it. A week later, the club got approved. A month later, it got funded. A $500 budget. He spent all of this money on snacks, custom t-shirts, a giant banner with a fake logo, and a director's chair for himself for some reason. After a while, the principal pulled him aside and said, "There's no way this is a real club." He just shrugged and said, "I mean, we do appreciate nature, just from a distance." The best part is he would schedule actual events called observation hours. This is where they would drag 5 or more chairs and put it in front of a big window in the library, and they would all just sit there for 45 minutes, looking out the window. Look, a bird. Oh, nice catch. The principal, who was already suspicious, came by. Okay, what exactly is this? Shh! We're appreciating. Yeah, eventually the club got shut down, but the t-shirts, they wore those almost every day for the rest of the year. You canceled my birthday party? For a B+? Actions have consequences. So this one student got a B+ in math. Not too bad, right? Well, not according to his dad. The dad walks into the room holding the kid's report card. A B+? Are you kidding me? Dad, it's still above average. It's a really hard class. Well, it's not good enough. Give me your phone, now. Wait, what? No phone, and I'm canceling your birthday dinner. Yo, are you serious? Dead serious. The next morning, the dad emails the teacher, saying stuff like, why didn't you push my child harder? He's clearly capable of more. You're supposed to challenge him, not let him slack off. The teacher writes back, your son has the highest grade in class. He's the only one that got above a B. I'm actually very proud of him. His dad is crazy. The kid finds out about this email. He walks up to his dad and says, so can I have my phone back now and maybe my birthday? The dad just stares at him and walks away. Happy birthday to me, I guess. So this small town school incorporated a new rule. No hats ever. Not in class, not in the hallways, not even during lunch. Didn't matter the type. Snapback? No. What? Baseball cap? No. Huh? Bucket hat? Definitely no. Hey! The teachers said that this rule was about respect and uniformity. The principal kept saying stuff like, this is an institution of learning, not a fashion show, folks. But one day, this kid comes in wearing a helmet. Like a full-on bike helmet strapped under his chin. You know, just sitting in class like it's completely normal. The teacher sees him. Why are you wearing a helmet in my class? You know the rules, no hats. Oh, it's not a hat. It's for safety. Nice try. You need to take it off. Actually, no, I don't. There's nothing in the handbook that says I can't wear protective headgear. She tries to argue with him, but he just smiles and says, look, you can ban hats, but this is personal protection. What if a ceiling tile falls? What if I trip and fall? Miss, I'm just being cautious. He wore it all day. He wore it to lunch. He wore it to gym. They called his parents. His parents said, hey, if he wants to wear a helmet, that's his right, okay? Better safe than sorry. So the school had no choice, because helmets are protective gear. They couldn't ban it, and all of a sudden, other students began joining in. By the end of the week, you had tons of kids wearing baseball helmets, lacrosse masks, skating helmets. It was iconic. However, they did eventually put this specific rule in the handbook. Students must not wear hats or helmets in school unless they have a doctor's note. That's kind of awesome. Does he, ever talk? Nah, not once. All year. So this new kid transfers to the school halfway through the year. Middle school. Kinda tall, quiet, doesn't talk to anybody. At first, people think, well, maybe he's just shy. But then weeks go by, and nothing. Not a word. No volunteering, no answering questions, not even a here during roll call. He does every assignment, he scores high on tests, but still, not a single word. No, it gets to the point where people just stop trying. He's the quiet kid, and that's it. Then one day, it's May. There's a sub in math class. She goes down the roll sheet, gets to his name, Evan. And for the first time all year, he goes, here. The whole room freezes. Did he just, yep, out of his, And that's when his cousin, who's been in the same class the entire time, pulls out a crumpled $50 bill out of his backpack and hands it to this kid. Turns out, back in January, they made a deal. Alright, so you're transferring to my school after the holidays. I bet you can't go the rest of the year without saying a word. Well, I bet you I can. They made a frickin' bet. If he had lost the bet, he would have had to eat a raw onion. $50 and his cousin buys him a meal from Cane's. Good deal to me. Did they ever find out who did it? Nope. And it drove him insane. So there's this one principal. Old school. Super strict. Hates nonsense, hates funny business, he's got zero chill. Well, one day he walks into his office and there's a single crouton sitting on his desk. Dead center. No note, no explanation, just sitting there. He doesn't think too much of it, so he tosses it in the garbage. The next day, another one. Same spot, still no message. Day after that, again. He starts asking around. All right, who's messing with me? Huh? Who's the crouton person? Huh? No one knows. So he checks the cameras, but there's no camera inside his office, just the hallway outside of the door. In that hallway, there's tons of kids coming in and out of the office all day. teachers, office aides. Too many faces, there's no way to tell who left it in there. So he tries to stop it. He begins locking the door when he's not there. He still gets a crouton. He moves his desk, still gets a crouton. He leaves a sticky note. Whoever this is, please stop. The next day, a new crouton, sitting on a napkin that says, respectfully. This goes on for months and he never figures it out. Never gets an answer and never catches this crouton person. And then one day, it just stops. Nothing. The desk stays empty. No note, no crumb, no crouton. He retires the next year, but the day he left that job, he put a framed photo on the wall of the crouton sitting on a napkin, and below it, it said, unsolved. That picture is still hanging in that office to this day. This kid got suspended for selling pencil insurance. So this kid, right, he's kind of smart, he's kind of funny, he definitely knows how to game the system. He notices that every day in every class, someone, every single day, asks to borrow a pencil. So he starts offering a deal. $1 pencil insurance covers you for the entire week. If you lose your pencil, boom, he'll replace it. Need an eraser? You're covered, he's got you. It's actually a good deal. It's way cheaper than buying a full pack at the store. And it absolutely blows up. By Thursday of that week, 15 kids are covered on this pencil insurance. He starts giving out policy numbers. He makes sure that he has one of his insurance agents in every classroom that has an insured client. Carries around a binder, he has terms and conditions. One teacher sees all this and says, hey, you can't run a business in class. It's not a business, sir. It's insurance. The next week, he starts offering platinum packages. $3 a week gets you mechanical pencils. $5 a week gets you 2 pencils every time you lose or break 1. That's when the admin gets involved. Are you selling items on school property? No, sir, I'm providing peace of mind. They then suspend him for unauthorized commerce. But on his way out of the building, he sees one of his clients. He says to him, if you need pencils while I'm gone, talk to my cousin. Spread the word. And his cousin, who did go to that same school, took over for him in his absence. That's absolutely awesome.
বাইকটা নিচে রাখাস
সকালে উঠিয়া আমি মনে মনে বলি
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
প্রত্যেকদিন বাচ্চাদের পড়ান?
সবাইকে কি বলছি বাসায় গিয়া এই পড়াটা পড়তে হবে, ঠিক আছে? এখন ছুটি, বাসায় যাও। আপনাকে অনেকবার বলছি এরকম রাস্তাঘাটে আমার সাথে কথা বলবেন না, বিরক্ত করবেন না।
কেন?
লোকটা কে?
আমি জানতাম তুমি রাজি হবে।
আপনি কে?
আপনার অঞ্চলের খাবার অসাধারণ।
তাই তো কেন ফোন যায় না? না, তোমার নাম্বারটা তাড়াতাড়ি করে বলো।
ঘন্টার পর তো গার্লফ্রেন্ডের লাগে ওয়েট করতে পারো, আর বন্ধুর লাগে 2 মিনিট ওয়েট করতে পারবা না?
ও এখন আমার দোস্ত, তাইলে তো বন্ধু রিত লেগে গেল।
আরে বেটা এত লাফাইস না, যেরকম শুনতেছি পরীর মতো এরকম করলে তো বেটা।
বাদ দে, কালকে 4টা দেখা হবে।
ঠিক আছে মামা।
ঠিক আছে মামা,
ঠিক মতো যা।
হালা পারলাম না রে।
আরে তোর তো হাওয়াটাই হয়ে গেল।
তুলি, তুই তো সুন্দর নাম। আরে শুন, আমি জিসান, আই লাভ ইউ।
আপনাদের তো চিনলাম না। আমার বড় বোনের যে দেবরগুলো আছেন তো সবাইকেই চিনি, বাট আপনাদেরকে তো চিনি না।
যাইতে দে, আর আমার খালা লাগে। কোথায় বলতা? ভালোবাসা যে এত প্যারা, এত কষ্ট, এত জ্বালা যন্ত্রণা, জানলে ভালোই বাসতাম। জিসান আর তুলির ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস, তাই রক্ত লাগবে দোস্ত।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম দুলা ভাই।
আরে শালা, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর, কেমন আছো? বান্ধবীও তো যায় না, এতবার ফোন দিলাম ফোনও ধরতেছে না। তুমি একটা ফোন ধরতে, ফোন বের করো।
কি বলেন দুলা ভাই, ও যায় নাই? কথা হইছে, ভাইয়া বলছে যে ভাইয়া আমাদের কোচিং এর সামনে আর আসবে না, আর তোকে ডিস্টার্বও করবে না।
কারণ না,
কারণ না,
আমি 1 থেকে 3 গুনবো না বাবা। প্রেম হইলেই হবে, প্রেম হইলে এমনি ডিস্টেন্স হবে বাবা, আমার খালি ওরে দরকার। তুমি পড়ো, ঘুমাও তাহলে। গুড নাইট আর বাই।
সহজে কোনো কিছু পাওয়ার মজা নাই, কিন্তু আমগো দোষ জিসান কি কম।
ও
ভাবি লাগে বেটা, লজ্জা লাগে না? তুই যা।
জামুই তো, তুই চুপ থাক।
আমি তো আপনাকে চিনি না।
চিনো না যে আজকে চিনলা, আরো চিনবা, আস্তে আস্তে চিনবা। আর শুনো,
আরে বেন সাহেব, নতুন নতুন সম্বন্ধ তো তাই চিনতে পারেন নাই। ওই যে আপনার বান্ধবী তুলি আছে না,
আমার তো তাহলে বিশাল বিপদ। আমি তাহলে কোচিং এ কেমনে যাব, পড়াশোনা কিভাবে করব? আমার তো ভয় লাগতেছে।
কি খবর?
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। কি খবর? 3, 2, 1। আর আজকে রাত 10টা, হ্যাঁ?
রক্ত জ্ঞান।
ইতিহাস লিখবো, ভালোবাসার ইতিহাস।
ভালো আছি, আপনি ভালো আছেন?
আমি তো ভালো আছি। তো তোমার বোন কোথায়?
আচ্ছা একটা মিনিট, আমি কল দিচ্ছি। এক রাতেই ভালো হয়ে গেল, এটাও আমার বিশ্বাস করতে হবে? দোস্ত আমার না ভয় লাগতেছে।
এই কি করবি? সেই না চেহারা, না হলো কি চেহারা, কথা তো বেশি, চেহারা ওজন বেশি।
আপনি না শুই না দেখা সব জানা ফেলছেন বাবা।